But let's go over to Daybreak.
Subtle, thinly veiled balance one. Guys, welcome to Daybreak in the bottom left corner from Team Liquid. It's Jungmin Choi, also known as Zenio. Zenio has graced us with some of the best series in NASL history with his ZVZ. Can he piece together a good Zerg versus Terran series to salvage everything? We'll find out in game number 2.
That's right. Cloud right now is fighting an uphill battle. Of course, he's 0-4 in this particular division. But on Daybreak, 25% chance that you win in TVZ on Daybreak. 25%. That means if I take a coin, okay, I need to guess it right on that particular flip, and then I have to do it again and guess it right again. I have to flip a coin twice and be right.
But isn't a coin 50%, not 25%?
Yeah, but you flip it twice.
Yeah, but I know, but then that'd be one game. So then you have to flip it again twice in a row to get 2 games.
Well,
wouldn't a better analogy be like a 4-sided die, if that's even possible? Yeah, a 4-sided die.
How can you have a 4-sided die?
You just make
that's
less
crazy.
sides.
That's not a dice.
Yeah. Just like there's a 20-sided.
That's like a pyramid.
If you ever played Dungeons and Dragons, there's a 20-sided die.
Yeah, that's crazy. But no, you can flip a coin twice, and that gives you.
I'm gonna buy Andre. I know exactly what I'm getting you for Secret Santa for Christmas.
What do you mean?
4-sided.
No,
die.
man.
Look,
a pyramid. I told you.
it's a 4-sided die.
Yeah, I know, but people
It's a
don't know what a
pyramid. You
4-sided die.
still
They know what a
roll it.
6-sided die is. Gosh, Frodan.
If there's 4
You're
sides.
ruining my analogy, man. No, it is like, oh, I get on Andre's.
It's like one of those. Do you remember those fortune tellers that people would like fold?
You're actually dichotomizing the chat right now. That's what you're doing. You're dichotomizing the chat. Why can't you just say, yeah, Andre, it's like flipping a coin twice?
Oh, Andre, do you remember those fortune tellers where like you would like do
Oh,
up and down, up
yeah.
and sideways, and then like
It's
you
like
open one flap.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, give me like your favorite color, and they count how many letters you have, and they do
B-L-U-E.
That's right.
All
And
right.
you keep folding
What
it.
number? 7.
And then eventually you pick a
You're
number.
going to die early.
No, that's right. You get all this fortune. That's pretty much what I feel like TVZ is. At least on Daybreak. It's like, how will I die this game? Pick your favorite colors, like R-E-D. It's like infestors. Like, oh, okay.
Dude, how cool would it be if you actually made something like that and you would say like, okay, pick a map and Daybreak, and it's like D-A-B-R or D-A-Y-B-R-E-A-K, and it's like you will die past 30 minutes. And then it automatically knew like exactly how you were going to die every single game. That would be the coolest fortune telling thing ever.
Maybe it's all in the crystal ball, Andre, and only time will tell to see what's gonna happen between these 2 players. We see Cloud opening up very similar to he did in game number 1, except he has 1 gas instead of 2.
He went CC first in this game. So 1 gas gets you enough gas right when you actually finish 2 Marines. Then you obviously push this over and get the reactor in there. There's a very economic-centric opening, of course, prioritizing SCVs out of anything else, but you get your Hellions in a pretty good time, actually a little bit faster than if you go 1 barrack CC. So that's why a lot of people have actually gone to this, but it's risky in that if there's anything but 15 hatch, you're not going to be able to stop it and get your expansion up.
That's right. You know, being able to get those early Hellions out just so critical for map control.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, Zenio also getting speed, very valuable for map control as well, starting to move out for his 3rd at around 6 minutes, a little bit earlier than normal, but that's okay because he knows what his opponent is up to as well. Now, Cloud, let's see, on this map, Daybreak, I would like to think that multiple styles are viable. A lot of people still like going mech, but Marine Tank still seems to be really strong. What would you like to see out of Cloud this game? It looks like he's going to set up for Hellion Banshee, but what do you think he should transition from there on?
Hellion Banshee into mech. I think mech is pretty good on this map, although MVP kind of blundered it in his match against against Life. I still feel like overall, yes, the counterattacking options are very good for Zerg, but what you can do is play a very trade style in the beginning. Just try to trade out units as much as possible, and then split the map. And once you split the map, you just play it defensive completely. Don't die to anything. Get Vikings, get Ravens, and deny this 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Now, when you do that, you're in for like a 60-minute game minimum, which is important to note. But that's a very, very good way to actually play out this this map if you want to go mech.
Ooh, fast 3rd Command Center as well. to transition from Cloud. Meanwhile, Zenio just going to play things pretty normally, get double Evo Chamber as well as a Baneling Nest, being safe against any kind of early pokes as well as being able to tech up. Again, Daybreak, a very passive map. Spreading creep is really important. Spreading creep to the third is also critical, which is what Zenio is trying to emphasize. I do want to say that I think Cloud also has a lot of mind games prepared, because remember, in game number 1, he went only 6 Hellion. A lot of Zergs are not used to that. They're used to, I think in the current days of the Korean metagame, people are going 15 Hellion, 16 Hellion run-bys with Blue Flame.
That's right.
And they're going massive amount of Hellion pressure, even if they're not going for mech. You know, the early pressure with the Hellions is something that Cloud has to his advantage, because now he's shown the same 6 Hellions, but Zenio's like, is he going Cloak? Is he going to go for mech? Is he just going to transition to normal bio? And of course, everyone knows on our screen, but Zenio doesn't.
That's right. And you know, this build is actually going to be really effective, I think, against Zenio. What we see yet again is double upgrades before any lair tech. And that forces a lot of reaction coming out from Zenio. Now, Zenio has good Spore Crawlers placed, but what's going to happen is all these units actually clump up together. You get the Banshee that can actually synergize with the Hellions really, really nicely. And what kind of detection do you really have? You don't have any, Frodan.
Well, I mean, this Banshee is finding a nice sweet spot, being able to take out some of these Banelings as well that are morphing. Cloud not trying to be too greedy with his Banshee, just trying to pick off whatever is guaranteed. But with this many queens, Zenio should be fine in terms of transfusing.
That's right.
Just like you said, Andre, I think Cloud is setting this up very nicely with Harass. But of course, Cloud's very safe again. Oh, and as I say that, the way I say safe is that he's not overcommitting his Hellions. A lot of Terran players like try to harass in the main, send Hellions at third. And Cloud seems to be doing it very statically, like one at a time, making sure he can pick up whatever
Cloud,
he can.
You're going to lose everything!
Oh, the Baneling's getting nice shots, Andre.
Yeah, that was the worst possible situation that could have happened. You need to keep those Hellions alive. You can't actually lose out like that. And another big problem was actually losing that one cloaked Banshee. You need to actually increase the Banshee count to about 3, to the point where you're actually DPSing so fast that queens cannot keep up with the constant transfuse. And when you have such a delayed lair, that means all your other anti-air is quite substantially delayed, which is, of course, your infestors and your mutas. So you can take advantage of that large period of time where your opponent only has queens. And actually, queens are pretty expensive, Frodan. It actually eats into your income and your hatcheries quite substantially. So I feel like Cloud did misplay that. He should have actually moved out of there with the Hellions. He should have kept his Banshee count. But right now, I mean, where does he actually go? He has to play passive for such an extended period of time. Not only has he gotten his third base, but there's so many different tech switches that can potentially come through just because Zenio has invested so heavily in income in the beginning stages, whereas Cloud was still trying to get units to kind of make him get more units, but he didn't actually accomplish that too well.
Run by at the third to pick off whatever he can, straggling SUVs, and gets out. Nice little trade there for Zenio. Also gets a good general sense of what the army composition is like. Oh, only that many Hellions, and there's none really in the middle of the map. And there's not really a constant Banshee production either. So Cloud just dedicating all of his gas into the upgrades. He's getting Blue Flame, getting +2/+2 really quick, as well as Siege mode. So he's going to transition into Siege tanks a little bit faster. We've seen this already out of Cloud. And when you play this kind of mech style and you play passive, controlling the center is so key. Even just in terms of being able to hold off the run-bys, having your Hellions control that area is much more important because the counterattacks can be very annoying.
Yes, now mutas are approaching onto the field right now. This is going to be a slight fake, I do believe. I feel like these mutas, they're a stylistic thing, I know for sure. A lot of Zergs say that this is the best way to actually play because it shuts down Banshees really, really nicely, which empower everything else on the ground. So I might be going mass roaches directly after that, and in that period in time, only Thors aren't the best way to deal with mass roaches. So a lot of times Terrans just back off from there. But the fact of the matter is Cloud has no indicator to know what he's up against, so he still has to defend against mass roaches. In that period in time, I've seen like people like Stefano just tech up straight to Ultralisks at 12 minutes getting the hive, pre-12 minutes getting the hive. I've also seen people just stick with only mutas and really build on the fact that they have to go siege tanks in response to potential roaches.
No, you're right, and it's forced Cloud to build a few more Thors into his composition because, of course, Cloud would love to be transitioning into full-out tank production. Zenio, just like you said, Andre, was already been faking the entire time as he was getting pathogen clans as well as neural parasite research on his infestors. Now into full production mode, 50 Zerglings on the way, going to put Zenio well over 100. Question is, how active is he going to be? How aggressive will Zenio be able to take in terms of ground? Because we know players like Life, he's been able to pad his GSL run through constant Zergling aggression.
That's right, and this is going to be really tough for Zenio, I think, again, to put on any damage on his opponent. That's the #1 thing. But Cloud is putting, oh my god, there could have been the best Fungals and Baneling hits right there. If he just committed to that, but still killing all these Hellions, it's so good, Frodan. Killing these Hellions means the Zerglings are empowered, and that is really good because Zerglings actually provide more HP than other units. When you have units like Thors that, look, they do 2 times 36, which is 72 damage, but if a single Zergling only has 35 hit points, you're committing so much overkill to those Zerglings that they're, you know, theoretically they have like 72 hit points just because they're taking so much damage from those Thors.
This push is still very intimidating, Andre, especially with Hellions coming in from reinforcement and the siege tank positioning. A scan from Cloud does take out more creep tumors, but Zenio also has a northern flank setting up as well. He does have reinforcements that is natural if he wants to just go for a complete sandwich. And I think that's what Zenio's starting to plan. He's moving out to his third base. He wants to contest this because he needs to protect these 4 bases. Zenio's going to go for it. Fungals on the Hellions, but the tanks are unprotected, really.
No.
And now Cloud is going to be open for a huge counter attack as well. Wow. Andre, Cloud loses everything.
Yeah, but that was kind of misplayed by Zenio. His Zerglings on the bottom actually didn't line up with the ones on the top. So I think he could have won that a lot more decisively. Unfortunately for him now, he's actually still trying to clear up this same army. And meanwhile, Cloud is actually looking good. He has his 4th base. It does have reduced minerals, but still, he has his 4th base. It helps out. And from here, he's just going to continue on the pressure, but Cloud needs to be so careful because losing these units is actually pretty big. Now, it's only Hellion Siege Tank for now, but when it comes down to it...
Well, Zenio sitting in some Zerglings a little bit delayed. Again, staggering his units, but he has a lot of stuff to deal with. But he doesn't have an answer to the Banshee, but it may not matter because everything on the ground is dead, and no Corruptors coming in from the south because a Greater Spire has finished, and now Zenio can start morphing in Broodlords.
There you have it. And Broodlords will be the stabilizing key, actually, in this game. When Broodlords are out, obviously, Cloud needs to just change tech drastically. And the problem with Cloud right now is that he hasn't prepared starports. He hasn't prepared upgrades. So these Corruptors and these Broodlords are actually going to take or pave the way for victory, I think, for Zenio. I mean, he is just so strong right now because there's no answer to this composition.
Zenio has 3-3 finishing, making his Broodlords and Zerglings very intimidating, even setting up a very nice Ultra Switch if he needs to, although I really doubt it at this stage, just because Cloud, just like you said, Andre, has no starport, I guess, fix it in this situation because he doesn't have Viking production. He's got 4 Thors, that's all of his anti-air, and the Broodlord and Corruptor count will only keep climbing with Infestor support, especially since Zenio is going to control the 5th base.
Now, the upgrade advantage obviously goes to Cloud, though. It's important to note that he has 3-3 while Zenio doesn't even have a 2nd Spire. He's not upgrading anything. As you can see, nothing is over here. That means his Broodlords are not dealing that much damage, to be completely honest. And that is relatively hard to kill Thors when you're like that. You actually need a ton of Broodlords to be able to actually combat your opponent if you want to engage. So I feel like him not getting any upgrades on the air is really messing him up, and potentially, if Cloud wanted to, he's just going to max out in Thors, pull SCVs, and have them on mass auto repair, and he can actually take out all the Broodlords that way.
Maybe. I mean, when he has also Zenio has a lot of queens with full energy for transfuses, and We've been seeing Hyun do that very, very well, especially in IPL Fight Clubs, where he's just able to take out any kind of Terran attack against the Blue Lords just simply by transfusing. Nice run by in the bottom right as well to take out this expansion. Cloud definitely could utilize some of those gas, especially if he wants to remax after the initial battle. Stuff like this is what Zerg really need to do nowadays to basically keep Terran on the toes.
That's right, Zerglings will run in here, but they meet up with a lot of Thors. There are right now 8 Thors on the field and 3 more on the way. This is really scary, in my opinion, for the Zerg. And I know that sounds really weird, but Zenio still doesn't have his upgrades. And it worries me, Frodan. It really does. 9 Infestors are on the way out, and let me just check. He does have Neural Parasite, so that's going to help quite substantially, but I'm still worried, Frodan.
Well, I guess it comes down to the positioning of whether or not Cloud's able to get his Vikings into a safe spot to attack, whether he can split up his army to avoid fungals, if he can get the Thors attacking the Broodlords and the Corruptors, if Zenio chooses to clump or split. All these questions are going to be answered in a couple seconds, though, because Zenio's moving very aggressively. The Broodlords are trying to get into position to fungal on all the Vikings. That is not what you want, Andre.
And he threw away a ton of Infestors right there. Unfortunate for him. He needs to keep those Infestors alive because you actually need Chain Neural Parasite to be able to kill this many Thors when you have such little amount of upgrades. So this is really, really dangerous for both these players, I feel. I mean, it's really, really so close. Oh no, he's attacking his own Thor! He just killed his own Thor.
Man, the odd one out. It's like, guys, I'm not a Broodlord, I swear. It's like, nice try, man. I saw you. You were infested from the beginning. Oh, whoa, big attack again down the ramp, and Cloud does get fungled, but Zenio backs off, tries to buy a couple of seconds, using the Spine Crawler as a way to kind of buffer some of his zones. The Hellions actually taking a lot of damage, and that's going to give a little bit more breathing room. Although now the Corruptor and Broodlord count is still pretty staggeringly high. The Thors are all clumped up, and that's going to allow the Neural Parasite to go off. One goes down, another one's going to go off, and all of a sudden the Thors are turning on to each other. It's like, this is the real infested Thor, as now Zenio controls 4 Thors on his side. That must be very convenient, as now Cloud's army supply is down to just 60. Zenio well over 100. And I don't really know if Cloud can protect the center base.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. Cloud just wasted everything in that attack. You can see 120 supply. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, no.
Wow. That's a lot of drones that died. That's actually really, really nice. Not the worst thing for Zenio, though. He's down to just mid-60 drones, but he can't really lose any more. And these Hellions are so cost-effective now because these drones were not taken care of. Zenio going for a massive run by in the bottom right, though it may not even matter because can Cloud hold off against the massive units? As Zenio has a lot of Infestors to support his Corruptor and Broodlord army. Another Neural Parasite, 1 Thor firing at the Vikings, reducing the anti-air. And that is just too much, Andre. Cloud's going to lose everything. Another run by again with these same Hellions. As these Hellions have insane amount of kills, 17 kills, 14. But it doesn't even matter if Zenio doesn't have drones. He's just got such a big army.
That's right. I mean, how can you really combat this? The upgrades are so minor. I feel like, however, if Cloud actually brought a lot of SCVs with him, it might have been a little bit better, but still the compositions are so difficult. It's like, I feel like Zerg have to actually make a mistake in that position. GG gets called by Cloud. And we have ourselves a tied series, but, you know, the #1 reason why you don't see just Mass Thor or Thor Hellion is because of Neural Parasite. I can easily just take the front 4 Thors, and you can't actually close up on the rest of my Infestors because I can fungal you. I can just keep you in place to the point where you're dead because Thors are killing you.
It's like on Daybreak, he said, pick up players like Zenio, like Zenio. He says, Neural Broodlord. And he's like, that's how you're going to die on Daybreak. Guys, Getting Rolling was brought to you by Audible. Go to nasl.tv/p/audible to download a bestseller. And check it out while we take a break. And get ready for game #3 between Zenio and Cloud. The series conclusion, game #3.